Welcome, saber enthusiasts. I am Nick Nitro, and I am the Lord of the Crucible. Today, we're going to be doing a review of the Crimson Dawn Arbiter. Now, before we get into this, I got another project going on that I kind of want to cover. You know, like many Star Wars fans, I want to do my own cosplay, and I'm finally getting around to starting that. So, this is going to be the first piece I'm starting on. And yeah, it's already made. It looks nice. This is a communication bracer. You can actually fit your phone right in this pocket. And it was originally made by a company called Two Gentlemen of Fortune on Etsy. They have since closed shop, and this no longer fits. My body has changed a little bit. Getting old sucks. And my phone doesn't fit in here anymore. So I'm going to be modifying this. Going to be taking the straps off of here and replacing it with something a little bit more in-universe. And I may even have to remove and rebuild this part here. So, if you'd like to see something like that, if you'd like to see a video covering the process by which I'm going through this and the other steps in making my costume, leave a note down in the comments. Let me know. See if something like that interests you. Other than that, let's get on with the review. As you saw in the last video, it had a couple of surprises for me. And one of them I was able to fix right up here. You saw that wire pop loose. Turns out it's got a removable chassis, which we'll go ahead and show that right here. Yep. I absolutely love that. That is a fantastic thing. But I did find out that it's got one more surprise. And if you'd like to know what that is, watch all the way through to the end of the video, and we'll make certain we've got that covered. But this has been already a bit of a roller coaster ride. It's got some interesting grip to it. The thin neck here. It's not really a thin neck as it is an exaggerated choke point. It just looks like it's going to have more structure than your standard thin neck saber. So let's go ahead and get some of our measurements out of the way. And overall, the weight isn't too bad. It's just under a pound at like 15.8 ounces. The length, kind of long. I mean, most of that is this decorative piece in the shroud here, but it's still, you know, 13.75 inches long. It's just over a foot. You know, it's got a good length to it, and if you double hand it, you've got plenty of room. The diameters. This is where things are a little interesting. I'm not going to measure way back here because you're really not going to be gripping like that. But this flare back here does really help keep your hand from sliding off. So the widest point on here is in 3 places. Right here, and right here. These 3 rings are all like 1.415 inches. And the narrowest point, well, that's going to be right here. That's literally just over an inch in diameter. It's 1.007 inches. I mean, it's barely wider in diameter than a blade. And I mean barely. Now your internal diameter, I kind of cheated on this one. The blade goes right in through here. This piece comes out, so I went ahead and removed this. And it allows you to get the internal diameter measured real easy. And that came out to be 1.002 inches. So this is only barely smaller than that diameter. Your blade diameter itself, a little narrower than what I was expecting. Normally they're like 0.98, 0.99. This was 0.991. Or sorry, yeah, 0.99. I mean, it usually goes out to 3 nines, and this is like 0.991. In certain spots, it actually went down to 0.988. So that's slightly thinner than most blades. Now the balance point was about 2¼ inches in front of the emitter. Not terribly bad, but I kind of rushed through all of this for a reason. Yeah. This thing has been giving me surprises all the way through. When I did my last video, I said this was the blade retention screw right here. Right there. That's not. That is not it. When I tried to use that as the blade retention screw, let's see, where is it? There's a little divot right here where the screw grabbed right on the corner of the blade. If I had tried to test this saber in the Crucible with that, this would have gone flying across the yard. Or possibly back into my face, I don't know. It's a real possibility. The blade retention screw goes here. That's not all, but let's go ahead and get that screw in, because there's something interesting going on here. Now when you put this screw in, you need to make certain it is below the level of the metal, okay? It's very important. Because then you want to take it out. This little collar is not decorative. It has a function. Look at that, right there. Now when you put the screws in here, it does get tighter. But I also want to make certain the screws are nice and even. Because if they're sticking out of the metal at all, it's going to start scoring up this area here, which I've already found out the hard way. But this should be a very interesting test in the Crucible for this saber. But it does mean this probably about the only time you're going to have to deal with these little itty bitty grub screws with this saber and this blade. Now, I don't know if they sell extra collars like this. I would love to think that they did, because that would mean you could have multiple blades of different lengths that you could change out without having to carry an Allen key. So once you have this attached here, now bear in mind, that first screw is going to be critical. You need to make certain it is fully seated against the pins before you lock it in place, because that is going to set the depth. If you don't have that properly set, then you're going to have to put it in and take it out, put it in, take it out. Getting used to that, okay, but once you have it set, that blade should be good. I'd love to have more of these so I can have different sized blades that I could just pop in without needing an Allen key. But with it on and fully secured, it works just fine. Nice and stable. I like it. This has been a huge amount of surprises all in one package. What can I say? I am really pleased with this saber. Really pleased. Oh, wait a minute. Almost forgot something. This is a Crimson Neo core. All of the sabers from Crimson Dawn that have either the Crimson core or the Crimson Neo core can be synced up with your phone through the Xeno 3 app. Just please, please, please do not update the firmware through the app. If you do that, there is a big risk that it may not work anymore. There have been some people who have gotten away with doing an update, maybe 2 updates, and no changes, nothing went wrong. A couple of weeks ago, I got a response from a gentleman on one of my older Crimson Core videos. He ran the update through the app, and his saber no longer worked. The only thing I could do was refer him to Crimson Dawn technical support, because I don't have any tools that would be able to correct that. So please exercise some caution. Crimson Dawn is working on their own app. I really need to get a hold of them and see if they've made any progress on that, because I would love to see what that looks like. In the meantime, Crimson Dawn Arbiter looks really nice, got some nice innovation. I am Nick Nitro. I am the Lord of the Crucible. This is Rocky, and we will see you in the Crucible.